but both our metrics show Bitcoin dominance going to about 58%.
Also, only a small percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy finance content, consider subscribing or liking the video. It's free and you can always change your mind.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, right? So we don't know any of the security classifications now that have to do with what the securities of crypto will be. And I think that's just keeping so much. I mean, I can't find any big funds or big institutional money or major money that's buying altcoins right now. I can find ones that are buying Bitcoin. So that's the difference maker right there. And I still think Bitcoin dominance based on the chart. It's interesting because he uses different metrics than I, but both our metrics show Bitcoin dominance going to about 58%. That's the question, right? So there's the two scenarios are Bitcoin falls a little, the altcoins fall a lot, or Bitcoin rises a lot and alts rise less. And so either way, this just kind of continues to impress upon investors that probably the place to be if you're holding for the next 6 months is in Bitcoin, 6-12 months. If you're playing quick little trades, obviously alts can outperform, but for the midterm, it's probably Bitcoin is your best play in terms of return. Yeah, and then that usually happens, right? You have a risk-on environment, and the alts usually go nuts. But you know what?
Exactly.
The alts are seeing this major kind of infusion or of fear from the SEC, right? So that's really what's going on here. Is like the SEC has now made it so that you don't know if an alt is worth 10% of what it is currently, or if it's worth 10x of what it is right now. And so without clarity, it just keeps so much money on the sidelines. But I'll tell you one thing, and I've said this to so many people, that if we get clarity with the alts, like let's say they come out with rules for these altcoins that are securities and we can see clearly, then we can value them. And you might find that like a Polygon or a Cardano is maybe valued way too low right now. The other side of the coin is it could be the opposite too. And that's what we just don't know as investors. Yeah. So the breakout, if you're looking for what that could be, it could be a approval of a Bitcoin ETF. It could be the stock market continues to rally and risk on continues here, in which case eventually you would assume risk on means Bitcoin heads up as well. So those would be the positives that investors should look for. The negatives, which I think there's more negatives out there. If you see the stock market topping out, let's say the stock market even has a 10% correction from this massive run we've been on over the last, since October of 2020. If that starts to panic investors, do we see exiting and a breakdown on Bitcoin? So for me, it's watching this range. Obviously, it's a very tight range, and whichever way it breaks, I would go in that direction in the short term. It's always possible, but I don't think Bitcoin has matured enough yet to be a risk-on asset yet. So again, I think that's the key, is that or a risk-off asset. And so I think at this stage, if fear hits the overall market, and we've even seen this during COVID, even gold early on in COVID sold off, and that's like the classic risk-off asset. And so I do think that right now, investors should assume if you have a stock market sell-off, you'd also get Bitcoin to come in a little bit. And I think also just take a look at this. I mean, we were on April 14th, Bitcoin hit 31,000. That was April 14th. We're now at July 7th. And think about what the NASDAQ has done. The NASDAQ has continued to go up, at least 5-6% since then, maybe even 7 or 8%. Yet Bitcoin has not been able to break up. That's concerning for me as an investor. That's concerning for me as an investor, and has to be kind of monitored. Yeah, so I'm short a little bit right here. Just looking for a breakdown. My cover is very obvious, like we talked about. Any 5-day close above 30,500. It's a simple, easy, low risk trade because the risk is minimal here. It's only trading $200 below that level. So for me, I'm a risky trader. That's what I do for a living. For the retail crowd, I would say sit on the sidelines and watch to see if we get above that 30,500 level for those days. And then if you want to hop on board to 35, I think that's open to do.